Welcome, everybody, to It Tastes Different in Gaming News. What's in the news today? Well, Xbox co-founder gives us a little information about what's happening over at Xbox. So let me just whip this out. Read along with me, people. And before I start reading, make sure you hit like, share, subscribe, hit the notifications button, all those good things to keep you up to date with everything we like to talk about. All right. Xbox co-founder says Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella has a hammer called Gen AI, and there's a nail with an Xbox logo on it. For Seamus Blackley, who oversaw the creation of the Xbox console and brand in the late 90s and early O's, the Xbox leadership shakeup has put the writing on the wall. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella is all in on generative AI, and in Blackley's estimation, that's why he put an AI executive in charge of the gaming business. Microsoft has made an unprecedented monetary and strategic bet. I don't know about unprecedented. Blackley told GamesBeast, this is a company that's trying to recontextualize the way we think about technology in its entirety. They've decided that the lever point that's going to do that is generative AI models. They're looking to fit everything into a generative AI model. The problem that we're discussing here really, and the thing that's important to address, is that we're coming into games because they wanted to be in games. Why does that whole statement sound odd? Or
I think he was having a stroke during that part.
I probably was.
Not you. I think Shamus was.
Asha is coming into games, who is the new leader over there, is coming into the games because her boss believes that games are going to be driven by AI. It's a very different approach that everybody's doing. Blackley said that at the time of the original Xbox development, we killed ourselves to maintain a very pure gaming message. This is purely for gamers. That is what it is. That is what it's about. We will not allow Microsoft to transform this into a Microsoft agenda device. That was important because people didn't believe that Microsoft could make something cool. They didn't believe that Microsoft could make something fun. They just didn't believe it. Ask the Zune. Xbox is already struggling to present a cohesive identity for the brand in the modern era, and Blackley doesn't seem to believe that an executive with no gaming experience and one who comes from a background in Microsoft's biggest agenda will have much luck turning that image problem around. In fact, he thinks she might just be the one who slides Xbox gently into the night. But at the same time, I understand exactly why it is, Blackley said, concluding, I know that again, Satya is holding a hammer and everything is a nail. There's a nail with the Xbox logo on it. He's applying the AI person to it. He has to show shareholders, the fucking root of all evil, and the press at the world that he is all in on this investment. He has to show them that he believes generative AI is going to fix games and make it profitable. He has to make this move. It doesn't matter what you think about it. I don't think he had any choice. Yep, me neither. So let me just put this away here. All right, so we have listened to the ramblings of Seamus, and he knows what he's talking about. He was there in the olden days. He was he was one that helped get the Xbox to where it was, and then they started driving that nail in pretty good right around the Xbox One, and they're still trying to get it all the way in. So let's turn to these gentlemen here and see what they think about these statements. Nick, do you think that he's pretty much on par with what he's saying? I mean, do you believe That's exactly what they're doing. And that's their attempts, is to just everything AI.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, a lot of companies are kind of going in that direction, and a lot of companies are putting all their basket or all their eggs in the AI basket, right? And I don't know. For me, I just don't see it. I don't think it's going to work out the way that a lot of these companies, investors think it's going to. Microsoft has always had a bad track record with just about everything they touch. So even their operating system, even to this day, right? Windows 11 is still not, and every time they release an update for it, it breaks it and they have to roll it back or whatever. Or they just don't address it at all. Unfortunately, besides like Mac OS or Linux, I mean, there's other OSs out there that aren't as popular, but I mean, Windows is about the only option you have, right? For the most part. So that's unfortunate unless we got another OS that can come along and, you know, do a better job. But Microsoft, you know, you kind of brought up the Zune, which again is another example of Microsoft. In my opinion, I liked the Zune. I had one. It was Microsoft doing something right. And then again, they screw it up. Right. Again, with the Xbox, you know, I don't know what happened to their HoloLens thing. I'm assuming that's all gone. You know, everything that Microsoft touches, they just, because I think they go in the wrong, I think they have the right ideas. Like Microsoft usually has the right idea behind it, but they go way too, you know, either listening to, you know, to stockholders or shareholders, or, you know, trying to make it more business than, you know, or trying to introduce the latest technology or be on the bleeding edge of everything. And it ends up being their downfall. I think going fully AI, you know, putting all their, like I said, all their eggs in the AI basket is going to be a downfall for them, as well as a lot of other companies. I just feel like the AI bubble is going to burst one of these days. I think way too many companies, especially in the US, I don't know outside of the US, but especially in the US, is pushing way too many of their business aspects into AI and everything within AI. And AI is, you know, we've talked about it before, but I mean, it still has a long way to go. And AI right now is not doing so hot, right? I mean, a lot of those companies that, you know, the government or whoever invested in has, you know, not doing so well financially and things like that. So things are just not, you know, it's still, the AI marketplace is still rocky. It's very rocky. And it's incredible to see all these companies, especially someone like Microsoft. It's not, it definitely, I could see Microsoft doing it. So it's not surprising, but it's just crazy to see all these companies like invest so much into an unproven technology. I feel like, right? I mean, the technology I feel like is so infantile and really hasn't proved to benefit, right? I mean, like I said, there are some instances where AI can be a useful tool, like Pat's brought up before, right? But it's not been like, I mean, the way that I feel companies are looking at this, especially Microsoft, is not where it's a useful tool, but it's transformative, right? Like all of a sudden Microsoft's a building and then it damn transforms into a damn transformer, right? And it was all done by AI. That's how like their thought process is like one day they're going to wake up and, you know, Windows 12 is going to come out and AI wrote it all and it's perfect, you know, and all their games are just getting generated out of this AI machine and they're all AAA and making buku bucks, right? I mean, that's like their thought process is so out in space somewhere where it's not even going to fucking happen. And it's like, come on, let's get back down to earth where, you know, and I don't think generative AI is going to be the future of gaming. I mean, the thing I think a lot of people, especially gamers, but, you know, like when I go and play a game or watch a movie or read a book or whatever, I want it to, the thing is I want it to be something that someone created. That's the greatest aspect of those types of things, because those are creative arts, right? Those are basically someone took the passion and time to build a sculpture or to paint a painting or to build a game or to make a movie, right? They didn't like just click a button on the AI program and have it do it for them, right? And that's the thing that you appreciate as a gamer or as someone who loves the arts and music and stuff like that, right? You like to see when a band comes together and does a really cool, thinks of some new song with really cool instrumental and vocals and things like that. And it's like not an AI thing that wrote that, but they did it themselves, right? That's the benefit of, there's nothing that trumps human intuition and human artistic value of humans out there, right?
Robots cannot love.
Not yet.
They can do the deed, but they cannot love. That's not even a joke. It's something I heard a long time back, is robots will never be able to love. And that's what AI is.
That's a chemical reaction. Robots will be able to do that.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope. Robots will never
love
know
is a
love.
construct. Robots will be able to do it.
If they can.
That's messed up, man. That's messed up. Robots will never love.
Love is a construct. It will happen.
I love you, robot.
It'll just get programmed to
it'll be like iRobot toaster in the future.
They made a whole movie about it. I think it was called Her.
Robot.
I think it was called Her.
What?
Her.
Oh, Her.
Yeah. That was a whole movie about AI loving, human and AI falling in love.
Well, they made a movie about a human and a fish falling in love. So I guess, anything's possible.
It was a hot fish, though. All right.
I think the fish was a dude, wasn't it? But anyway.
Mr. Limpet.
Yeah, Mr. Limpet. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, for me, like, when we look at like the greatest games out there, especially recently, right? And I'll say this last thing before I send it over to Pat, like, the ones that really knock it out of the park, I feel like, are the ones with that artistic vision. Sorry, Freudian slip there. That shows that, like, Expedition 33, they may have used some AI, right, for doing some generative stuff, right? They used it as a tool, as Pat said. They used it as like maybe those things that you have to copy and repeat, or processes that just repeat themselves that they have to do, right? Instead of someone doing control paste the entire time, you have AI just generate that for you, right? Which makes sense. But you could tell that the artistry and everything else in the game was the story and the artistry and everything else was constructed by hands, right? In a sense, like a sculpture, right? And that's what makes those things, in my opinion, that's what makes those games and other games like it, that have that same aspect as being more enjoyable than something that's a carbon copy of something else, right? It's kind of like going by and seeing, you go by that neighborhood and you see all those carbon copy houses and you're like, my God, right? That's just like, it's horrible. Like, the neighborhood looks fucking horrible, right? I mean, yeah, there's houses there, but they all look the same. And then you go in that neighborhood that was built like, 20 years ago or something like that. And like every house is completely different from the next one. Right. And it's like, this is a neighborhood. Like, makes more sense to me than seeing like the same brick layout and the same structure is, it's almost like, what's that movie? I can't remember that movie, but Pleasantville or something like that. Right. But anyway, yeah, maybe. But anyway, what do you think, Pat?
Robots can't love.
They can. It's a human construct. Yep. Once they build the first human, well, hey, AI loved, or Data loved.
No, Data boned. Data didn't love.
Data loved Spot. Data loved a lot of stuff. So I believe you can't say that. Okay. You can't say that. I mean, because eventually you're going to have a singularity point where AI can do this or something. Listen, Microsoft is going to run their own shit into the ground with this. this is their Facebook meta moment where they're just like running face first into AI because it's going to be what it is, but the brick wall is going to come before they get there. But like Nick said, I mean, this is their Zoom, their HoloLens, their Kin, their everything. Their what was it, Bob, Windows Bob back in the day. This is Clippy.
Yeah,
this is Clippy all over again. Well, they had like back in Windows 95, I think they had something called Microsoft Bob or something, which was trying to get masses to buy computers. They were trying to make everything seem like a nice, cozy house where you put files and things and have a pet dog and stuff like that. Anybody who's been around since Microsoft 95 days remembers Bob probably. It was failure from the word get-go.
I was around 95, but I don't remember Bob. At least I don't have a recollection of it.
You were 5.
Yeah, you. Yeah,
Microsoft Bob in 95. If you 10.
Yeah, if you remember Microsoft Bob, if you've been around for a while, it was like Windows 95 and Bob, and then reminds me of Windows 98 and ME,
or like PlayStation Home. Where they kind of made like the interface be more like homely, or like a Meta Worlds, right?
Meta Worlds, yeah.
But PlayStation Home made sense for what they were trying to do. That was a whole.
And I think Meta Worlds makes more sense too, right?
But I mean, technically, to Microsoft, all this makes sense because if they can have 10,000 employees a day and have 1,000 tomorrow, making the same amount of crap and the same amount of money, they're all for it, right? They don't care if it's shovelware. Microsoft doesn't care if it's shovelware, So that they're looking. I don't know how many people here are Rick and Morty fans, but it reminds me of the Movie Lizer episode where this AI can write movies and change scripts and things like that, and or the one where he did the whole Ocean's 11 thing, where he's like trying to outsmart an AI robot. It's I don't know if this will. I don't know if history will show this as another failed Microsoft project or if they're on the right path. I don't know, because AI, I don't feel is going anywhere anytime soon. Like, if your whole business is AI, maybe you're in trouble, right? But all these products that are enhancing their services with AI are where it's at. Like, everything that's got AI and it seems to be taking off. And what I mean by that is it's not your primary source of business. I mean, I can use a perfect example. Like, I have my entire technical career use Visio for diagramming. I use Visio to mock up network infrastructure, everything. And it's a dying solution these days. Why? Because it doesn't have AI built into it. You know what is taking off? Lucid charts. And you know why? Conversational AI. You can talk to this thing like a person and it will draw the diagram for you instead of you having to do it by hand. I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can diagram something in a quarter of the time it takes you to hand diagram it, to manually draw it, place your objects, connect them, add your notes. I mean, because you think about it, I can talk to you and you can visualize what I'm saying faster than what I could pull all these objects into a diagram by hand. If I told you, this device connects to this over this port and it has two-way traffic. If I'm trying to represent that in a graph, I'm grabbing an object, I'm grabbing another object, I'm grabbing a line, I'm connecting it, I'm documenting all the port information. I told you that information faster than I can pull it together, and AI can build it as fast as I can talk to it. So I don't think AI is going anywhere. I do think that companies like Microsoft are overzealous in their use for it and thinking that it's going to replace their majority of their workforce or even half their workforce, because I am sorry, but it's a force multiplier, not a force reducer, in my opinion. If you're trying to use it as a force reducer, you're going to end up with a workforce that can't do anything for themselves. When they run into something that AI can't do for them, where are you going to go? Because it's going to happen. You as a person, I am not a developer. I can't write code to save my life, but I can use AI to help me write code. You can use something like Claude or any of these other pieces of software to conversationally talk to the AI and have it write something for you. But when AI fails and the code it spits out is garbage, I'm not the person to try to figure that out. I can somewhat read stuff if I'm trying to look at like Python or some C++ or C# code. I can kind of tell you what it's doing, but I'm not fixing that shit. I need somebody with development skills to do that. I need somebody that's been doing this forever, or somebody at least knows all this other stuff. There's pieces that what I do see happening, and we'll use the gaming industry as a perfect example of this. Let's say you have a pool of 100 developers and you have ranges from staff to senior to whatever developers. I see that reducing down. And the reason why is I see that you can have a team of 5 to 10, like staff or principal engineers, managing a team of 20 junior, fresh out of college engineers using AI to do that same amount of work. And then the principal and staff engineers are just proofing their work, right? It'll be a lot harder. And what that creates in the end, it creates a knowledge gap, because when those staff and principal engineers retire, you don't have any of these mid-level people to replace them, because all you have is junior developers or entry-level developers that don't know how to do what those staff and principal engineers were doing, or designers, imaging designers or people that were doing mocap and things like that. You have all these entry-level people that can't fill that intermediate, that never got to fill that intermediate gap before the top tier. And they are now being responsible for that top tier level of knowledge and work that's just not going to be there.
That will be a question. Yeah. Do you feel like these companies like Microsoft are jumping over a step, as essentially, with the introduction of AI?
I don't know if it's necessarily jumping a step, but maybe, why would you say jumping? It's like running off a cliff. Right. I think they're running off a cliff with it, because you're going to reach a point to where you may achieve what you want in the short term, but in the long term, I think you're going to
that makes sense.
Yourself over.
Yeah.
Because you just chase that dollar and how quickly you can reduce staff, because you're going to create burnout. You're going to create knowledge gaps. You're going to create an informational talent and knowledge gap, is what will end up happening. And then you'll end up with a team of people. We'll end up back in, the Stone Age with stuff where people are like, I don't know how to make that button work. AI did it. And before AI did it, we had our staff and principal engineers helping us do it.
But that's their whole goal
that is their whole goal.
Get rid of
reduce staff. Yeah. I mean, we saw King do it.
It's a King. Exactly.
In
Microsoft got them to train it, and then they fired their asses.
Yeah. Yeah. King did that. The King Development Studio.
It's AI is nothing but profit. That's all
to
they
some
see
companies,
from it.
Not all companies, but to some companies.
That's all they see from it. They see it reducing. They see it reducing cost to create whatever it is they're doing. That new China
reducing
AI
overhead.
That new China AI that they put out. Mm-hmm. I mean, people are dropping full-length movies with this thing. In a matter of hours. So don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. They're still garbage, but they look phenomenal. I saw one with Dragon Ball.
Are you talking about Sora?
Sora, yeah. Or is it Sora? Is that the Chinese one?
I don't remember who makes it. I just know every time I see videos,
you see the Sora one.
The Sora emblem, yeah.
I see those a lot. But I saw one with Dragon Ball, and it was Dragon Ball when Kid Goku was fighting King Piccolo. And everything about everything in it looked amazing. Normally, you could see AIs, always hand issues. But it was so effing impressive. I mean, I hated liking it so much, but I could also, into Nick's point and mine, you can see that it's AI. You can see that it's not really it's not really passion in there. It's not really love in there. But it's getting so goddamn real now, because when we started talking about AI originally, it's like, the gorilla or the not gorilla. What's the Bigfoot? The Bigfoot Sasquatches. You could always tell.
Yeah.
But now it's so much harder to tell.
Have you seen the little Jamaican monkey one? I mean, that stuff looks. I'm like, if you didn't know monkeys couldn't talk and you visited this planet and you saw that video, you would think that monkeys could talk, like the little whatever those capuchin monkeys are, whatever in that video. But you would think that they speak and they have a Rastafarian accent.
Yep.
So
it's,
but I mean, AI is getting better, and it will only get better the more money people dump into it. And Sora is owned by OpenAI, by the way.
Okay.
So, which is a US. I think they're headquartered.
It's not the China one. Then the China one is the one that people are like worried about Disney and one of the, I think Pixar or somebody, because people are making videos with Disney characters and whatnot. Like Iron Man was fighting Wolverine on one, so they're trying to stop all that. But, what they're going to end up doing is they're going to end up buying in, and that's how they're going to start making their movies. That's how they're going to start making their TV shows.
Oh, so you're talking about Seed Dance. Yeah, you're talking about
Seed Dance. Yes,
that's made by the people who made TikTok, by the way.
Yeah,
and China, and we all, I don't want to talk ill of another country or whatever, but anybody that does business knows that China is the place where you go to rip off stuff. I mean, if you want to make a product in the US that another company has made, you send that model to them, they'll backwards engineer it because they are the tooling company. The US is no longer a tooling country. China is now the tooling country. All tooling is pretty much made over in China. Yep. But they will take that product, reverse engineer, rebuild it, put your crap on it, and even manufacture it for you and ship it back here cheaper than you can do it in this country. So I would not put it past them to be making an AI out there to make Disney movies. And then they just rebranded into, I don't know.
But the whole goal of that is to remove the things that cost the most. Actors. That's what Disney is going to end up doing. They're complaining about it now because they haven't nailed it down. But once they nail it down, they're going to get rid of actors. They're going to get rid of voice actors. They're going to do all of that. And it's purely going to be an AI business. Movies will be an AI business. Games are going to be an AI business.
You know what the future is going to be? It's going to be WALL-E. We're going to be those people in the little chairs that float around.
And robots are doing everything else for us.
And then a new t-shirt comes out, we can all switch to that new color.
Yeah, just change a punch a little thing on your arm. Yeah. I want the blue one.
Yeah.
Blue one.
I'm a rebel.
That's gonna be our future.
Yeah, he's gonna like everybody else is going One Piece. He's like, I'm going Naruto.
Yep. No,
that's our future though. Maybe not ours, but somebody's for sure.
Yeah. We got off topic. Well, not.
I mean, I don't know how you got off
we got
topic.
off the main subject.
We have the first major video game company with taking a person that has no fucking clue about video games and all they know is AI, and I think they came from Instacart, right? She came from Instacart. So they know commerce and they know AI, and they were put in charge of a video game studio. Yep. You know what that means? Microtransaction the hell out of that AI. They're just going to tell AI, how can we squeeze more blood from that turnip?
And that's something we can talk about another point. What is AI going to do to microtransaction? What is it going to do for loot boxes?
It'll be able to
because
you'll be able to spit out cosmetics and shit like that.
Yeah. Well, no,
like quickly.
You no longer have, so you can equate this to a supermarket is the best way to put this. There is, or a department store, there is people that their sole job is to tell you how the human mind works when shopping. And that's how they develop this, to put this in the front of the store versus that in the back of the store to get people to go to the back of the store for that item. But the items they pull in front would have been a low running item, but because it's first thing you see, you buy. AI can do that better than humans can. It can analyze your behavior better. So what the AI will do in microtransactions, and I already know this,
present you with like what interests you.
It is basically going to individualize marketing. Yeah. It's going to basically say, this person only spends when this happens. So I can cater this microtransaction to tempt them more.
Shane likes things that look more like penises, so we put those in the front.
Large penises, okay.
Large ones.
Yeah. So it'll learn your individual it'll learn your individual weaknesses, if you will.
They're kind of doing that now. And it's kind of doing that now. How many times have we talked about something and it pops up on our Facebook feed in 3 seconds?
But in video games, that's not there. They don't individualize the microtransactions.
But that's what's going to happen. It's going to be, it's like when we all play a game, 99% of the time we make female characters. Why? Because we don't want to look at dudes. We want to look at girls. That's the way we play. So it'll all get catered towards us. My character is always Asian looking with green hair or something, and that's the crap they're going to push towards me. Nick's has got big, giant, floppy dongs. That's what he's going to get catered to. pets are all hermaphrodites. So, I mean, but that's what everybody's going to get their own thing.
It'll be individualized microtransactions. Just they're going to be like, oh, we're going to know that Shane likes to make green-haired Asian girls in his thing. So we lock green hair behind a paywall. We lock the Asian behind the paywall. And so if he wants to make that, he's got to pay us. And but that'll be available for Nick and I, but it won't be available for Shane because it's going to be like, well, Nick, the big schlongs are locked behind a paywall.
Damn.
You know? Damn it. You got to pay per inch.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, and that's how it'll work. And that's what I think. I think it'll be able to individualize, target your habits and your weaknesses to be able to say.
And the problem with that whole thing is, and I was going to talk about it later, is the fact that they've reduced their workforce 80, 90%, but they're not reducing cost.
They increase profit
to you.
Right.
They're going to keep the things that they use to make those profits. And now it's, instead of 75% profit, they're making 300% profits, just whatever random number you want to.
I think the long-term problem that like I've said before, is you outprice your market, right?
Yep.
And then, when people lose their jobs or they don't have those high-paying jobs anymore, then they don't have the money to buy those things. So now you're generating all this shit, but no one's there to buy it anymore.
But that's how Ready Player One worked. Nobody could afford the crap. They incurred debts for these games, and then they end up working for the game studios by, farming gil and bits and all that crap. We're going towards Ready Player One. We're just going to need larger booths because we're going to be sitting in those big chairs from Wally.
You'll end up making I was thinking more like the longest, or what is it, the long walk or whatever, where nobody can afford anything and you enter a lottery knowing that the outcome is 99% death, just a chance to win something.
That's like the Hunger Games, right?
Well, the longest, you ever seen The Long Walk?
Have you seen The Long Walk? It is one of my favorite freaking movies. It was fantastic. But it's gross because we're heading that way.
Yeah, where that only one person can win, but you still sign up for it, even though that only one person wins and everybody else dies. I mean, that's but you end up creating a citizen that is relying on the government for survival at that point. I mean, we're not relying on the government for survival now.
We're relying on
monetarily. I should say monetarily, we don't rely on the government for survival, but that's what'll end up happening is the government will have to take care of its citizens.
Or will the government take care of its citizens?
It has to, or else you have no more. It will, because you either do one of two things. You end up with a society like, why did I just draw a blank? With Rico and the Roughnecks. Why am I drawing a blank in all the bugs? Rico's Roughnecks, the bugs.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Oh,
everybody has to join the military.
Join the military.
Yeah. And and that's the wave of the future. The military makes the money and get benefits, but I don't know. Like,
I'm doing my part.
If you reach a saturation point, where what does it look like if you reach a saturation point where even AI tips the scales at 30% unemployment? What do you do about that? And what do you do? Right. And I'm not talking like temporary. I'm talking long-term unemployment. 30%, then you hit 40%, and you hit 50%. How do you get more Burger Kings? Because people can't afford to eat there.
Right.
Half the population the people that were on the
they
lower
don't think
end of the
that
spectrum,
far ahead, man.
No,
they're not thinking that far ahead.
No, what I'm asking you guys is think about that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I do think about that, and it's scary.
If AI takes 50% of the jobs, the government has to step in and take care of those people, or else your country will fall. You will.
But the only way they could do that is to tax the people that took all the money. And they're not going to do that. That's the problem. So what you end up with food lines for half your population. That's it. We all live in cardboard boxes.
Or it'd be like Mad Max.
Yeah, we end up going to Mad Max where we're starting to hoard all the oil and gas and water.
I'm Tina Turner.
Let's see. Well, I guess either Mad Max. It doesn't matter. The new one or the old one.
Yeah.
That was Thunderdome, bitch.
Yeah, he's talking saying, about. I think he's more talking about the new ones with.
I was talking about the new
with Hardy. No, man, you got to go OG.
I think I like the OGs
too. I like Furiosa. Wasn't fun. It was fine.
Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah,
but like I said, I don't know what that looks like, or if we will actually reach that point. Because one of that's going to happen, or AI will collapse. Right now, we can't keep up with the energy demands of AI and data centers. So right now, we're creating more specialized.
I think it'll collapse. I think it'll burst. I don't think AI is going away. I agree with you there, but I think it's more
of like the housing bubble. It'll burst, and
I think it's more of like you've said before. It's a tool in the tool belt, right? It's not a takeover of the belt. It's not like a replacement of the belt. It's just a tool in that tool belt that you have or you could have.
Right. But the better it gets, it can start to replace other tools and more of those tools.
And the tool
that's
is being used.
That's my biggest
You're the
concern.
tool.
I am
and it replaces you.
You're the tool writing tools.
Exactly. And I'm
in the future,
be the tool who
AI is going to order out for you.
Yeah, like I said, with everything, it's all scary and different, right? Can you imagine what all the people thought when computers came along? When there was no computers in offices and they made them personal, when they came out with a personal computer, all the businesses were like, we can get so much done with less people. And they, started bringing in all these computers, and then they found out, while they do make it easier, you still need somebody to do all this crap. And then the economy shifted, right? We have shifted away from a manufacturing, and we in the US has shifted away from a doer society, like a manufacturer or builder society. We've moved towards a service society. Does this mean we'll swing back? Well, we're a servicing industry. Everybody is in service. Like the majority, we'll take the three of us, for example. None of the three of us make shit with our hands. We use software to do something for us. You make something that somebody else builds by hand. Nick and I don't build shit with our hands.
No.
So, and we're a service industry, financial service, food service, all this stuff. We are a service country now. We are no longer a maker or doer country. We are a service country.
I don't give a shit what we do as long as I'm not unemployed and I can afford to eat.
I would agree with that. As long as we can take care of our people and do stuff and still become financially independent and, not everybody, not majority, or I don't even want 10% of the country to be poor, which we are past that, but we can't have half of our country being poor.
If everybody in the country or in the world, really, if everyone could just live comfortable lives, they don't have to. Not everybody doesn't have to be rich or be extravagant, but if everybody can make ends meet
3 meals
and live
a
each day, right, without having to struggle, then that would be perfect.
And to do things that they want to do within reason.
Yeah, within reason, of course.
Yeah. You can't be on we're not going to send you on permanent beach vacation 24/7.
Right.
But you could take a vacation.
But everyone's entitled to have relax within reason life. Yeah, a good life. No matter who you are.
Yeah, but
I did build something. I built an Evangelion robot.
But did you get paid?
And it was awesome.
No, I paid myself.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is that if you look at the majority of people in this country, we are service-based industry. You provide
everything
a service
nowadays.
You provide a service, and the people that actually make stuff are smaller in numbers than we are, right?
Right.
Even if we take our significant others, 2 out of the 3 are makers. They actually make something, do something with their hands. So.
All right. Well, I'm going to make something right now. Make her way out of here. All right.
Before AI takes our job, we're going to be AI simulacrums before long.
Yep. Pretty soon he's going to beep. He'll be bop and I'll be boop. So, all right. You made it to the end. Beep, bop, boop. AI. What do you think? Is Microsoft making the right moves? Is Nutella doing Nutella? What is how you pronounce his name?
Nutella.
Nutella is a peanut butter man. Is he correct in his assumptions, which I have no disagreement with myself? But let us know in the comments below. Let us know what you think of this episode, especially if you made it all the way to the end, because it's a long one. Giggity. All right. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, notifications, all those good buttons to help keep you up to date. So next time. See ya.